Karabakh has for me both personal dimension and general cultural, because I'm all my life in cultural sector. So I couldn't talk about military or political aspects. So in this short speech, I would like to touch both sides, personal and cultural. I'm Jahangir Salimkhanov, cultural expert, arts manager, musicologist, curator, and many other things within the cultural sector. So personally, Karabakhnamə, which means some writing about Karabakh, is something which I am related by heredity, because my grandfather's grandfather was one of close allies of Ibrahim Khalil Khan. And when he was murdered with his family, among them there were also his close like-minded people, and also my grandfather, Mirza Hakverdi. From this family comes Abdurrahim Bey Hakverdi, famous playwright and writer, and many other people, literate, educated people. Of course, I remember my grandfather, who was a poet, but he was not well known and famous, because he decided, when the Soviet power came to Azerbaijan, he decided for himself that it will be against his principles to write on actual topics, on politically correct topics. So his poetry was just in the circle of family and friends. So for me, I never been in Karabakh. Actually, also I traveled a lot around the world. So I have seen, for example, Alps in Switzerland, Italy, Austria, but I never been to Cederdüzü and Murov and so on. But for me, Karabakh is, first of all, it's not a geography. It's not a fascinating landscape. Karabakh is a land of poetry, a land of education. I felt it in my family, this cult of education, science, politeness, culture, music. That's why I understand the feelings of people when they tell that it is, first of all, a spiritual land. It's not just a piece of geographical land for us. But at the same time, now when we gained back these lands, as a man of culture, as an intellectual, I'm concerned about many things. First of all, I recall a famous question which many American professors put before the students on creativity class, and I do the same in my creativity class in different universities. It is about, if you have $1 million, or let's say euros, so how would you spend it? Because the problem is not that you don't have this at your possession. The problem is that you don't have a clear idea how to use it. And we see it in the example of Karabakh and possessing the land. We have seen that in 30 years that these lands were under the power of Armenians. We have seen that it's never became well-developed living, let's say, something which is called now placemaking. It's a special science. I would like to say that there are specialists in placemaking. So it didn't become a special place. And at the same time, we have seen that also we were telling that Karabakh is ideal condition for developing art of Mugam. We have seen that in the last 30 years, thanks to special focus on development of Mugam art, we are seeing now a splash of young generation. It's a real a plethora of young Mugam singers and performers, and many of them are hailing from Karabakh. So they never seen it, they are below 30, so they were born already in Baku or other places of Azerbaijan, but they managed to keep this art despite not having the land on which it comes from. So that is the question. So do we have a clear strategy about what we will do on these newly acquired, regained lands? And at the same time, another question for us, for people of culture and intellectuals, is about that the victory in the war doesn't give us, let's say, the proof to feel superiority, to feel that somebody is defeated and we are won, and because we are better. It is very important idea that superiority and even suprematism, which we see now among Armenians, many simple people sincerely believe that they are a special race. I read it in some, let's say, reports in Russian or in English, that it's a special Armenian species, Armenian man. Imagine, people sincerely believe that they are different than all other people. And it is maybe the reason of their defeats and their losses. Because if some nation lives with the idea that they should tell everybody that they are better than others or they are different, it's like a hidden bomb. I remember at one international meeting on culture as a vehicle for peacekeeping. It was organized in Tbilisi by a Polish foundation which deals closely with reconciliation in conflict zones, in former conflict zone, on creating bridges between people of different ethnicities. So they have arranged this meeting in Tbilisi. And at this meeting, one professor of anthropology from Yerevan again started to talk about some, hesitating points. And replying to him at this conference, I proposed to him, I formulated it for myself, and many people applauded me. They told that it's very right formula. Formula is that you should not feel yourself 24 hours Armenian or Azerbaijani or American. Of course, as I told, I feel the close connection to Karabakh because of my family. But at the same time, I've never heard in my family, nobody told me the story that my grandfather was actually the refugee from Karabakh, because their family moved to Baku in 1905 when he was 10 years old. Nobody told me this story. Nobody told me that Armenians are our enemies. Nobody nurtured in me hatred. And I think that I'm happy that it was like this, because people should be open to others. And I dream about Shusha and Karabakh as a place where all cultures and different cultures will meet. It could be a real new cultural center, so that we will not close ourselves in our shell. So we are Azerbaijanians, we are better than others, we will nurture our own culture. No, not at all. I think that it could be open to all cultures, a meeting point for all different cultures. And I hope so, that including Armenians, because I invite my Armenian colleagues not think about that they should from now on continue fighting and, let's say, proving that they are better. They should forget that, they should not forget, but at least to switch to different modes of human being. Maybe only one of 24 hours in a day they should remember that they are Armenians. All other times they should remember that they are human beings, they are Caucasians, they are, Oriental people, they are Europeans, and so on and so on. As many layers we find in ourselves, we are as rich as many layers we have in ourselves culturally.